One. Greetings. I am that I am, Cifehtr. It is been, has been, will be a time, a period, moment since we last communicated. There are many of you in this world at this time that are looking at your surroundings, your circumstances, questioning why. What is it that is going on? How does the global situation affect you as an individual? Why should you be so interested or not interested in the goings-on of the globe that you call Earth, your home? The reason you should be interested, the reason you should be alert and aware of many things that are going on in your time at this moment is because if you cast your memory back over the last few years prior to even the 2012 gateway, I spoke about how the world would change, that there would be moments of your time, of your linearity, that you should note. One of them was 2012. And I said to many of you, you will not perish, but you would be given a choice to continue living the karmic life or to step out of the karmic life and begin to live a life of responsibility, self-responsibility. Many of you have done this. The other year that or date that I gave you was the year 2015. Why? I said observe this year. Watch it. See what unfolds. The energy of this time is noticeable. Noticeable because things unfold, open up, expose themselves. And here we sit in the middle of 2015. It is, shall we say, 3 years from the beginning of the new cyclic life, or cycle. Or in, shall we say, more reality, it is the second year. For the first year was a year of existence. And then there was the second year after that, which was your 2014, and this is the third year, or the second year of fulfillment. 2015 is a year that many of you, if you have listened to anything that I have said, will show you the culmination of earthquakes, flooding, eruptions, displacement, droughts, and everything in between. Your year has, shall we say, not in the physicality or the humanity of it been kind to you. You've had many droughts, and many of you are going into droughts again. You have had floods in places that do not normally have floods to the degree that you have experienced them. Sure, you have had heavy rainfalls and you have had the necessity to perhaps sandbag a few things, but you have not had the floods to the capacity that you have had and experienced this year. Both here in the New Zealand and globally in Australia, the Americas, and even in the north parts and the what you would call the Icelandic lands, or the lands at the top of the earth, the England, the Ireland, all of the fjordland areas. Watch these places. They will experience anomalies in their weather patterns. They are not uniquely safe. They will experience things out of the normality. Why? Why are they happening this year? Is it because a group of us energetically said 2015 is a good year to throw out there and just see what happens, what goes pop in the night? No. 2015 is a year where the energy is drawing your attention. The energy is coming to a place in your existence where it is connecting you, as I have spoken before, to the consciousness of the global existence. Thank you, my dear. You see, you as humanity continue your life. You wake up, you eat, you work, you eat, you work, you come home, you eat, you drink, you sleep. You wake up the next day and you carry on the process. Surely there has to be something in your rote of existence that says to you, there is something a little more important. Many of you acknowledge that there is indeed something that is different, something that attracts your attention. If you will, this is the core of you, the core of the planet, the core of the globe, the core of the universal system. It is the core. Every core has around it a blanket. What is that blanket? The blanket is a consciousness. What is the consciousness? Well, if we break it down to its simplistic form here, it is an awareness, it is a knowing, it is a sense, a feeling, a shiver of acknowledgement, a déjà vu. But let us bring it closer in. Let us make it more real. Let us make it personal. Each human has a core center. Each human has that part of them that exists right here in the very center of them. Call it what you will. Your heart space, your soul, your spirit, your core being, your energy connection, your silver cord. It is that part of you that gives you realization you are more than a mere existence of life. So that is one layer, that is your core, that is an awareness, yes, that is a consciousness that you are more than. Yet even around that there is yet another layer. What is that? That is you, that is the humanity of you, your individuality. I am male, I am female, I am androgynous, I am this being that exists. So that is the next layer. But even around that there is yet another layer. What is that? That is the consciousness, again, of the greater humanity. What you would call the mass consciousness. Now, what is mass consciousness in reality? Mass consciousness is the common thoughts, emotions, the common feelings, the wasted efforts, the byproduct of the conscious mind of humanity and their unachievements or overachievements. But it is sitting there in the ether, so to speak, as a blanket around here that covers human existence. Now you may feel that I'm being particularly harsh, being particularly blunt. So be it. Have I got your attention? You see, how many of you individuals, whether you call yourself Lightworkers, whether you call yourself awakened beings, matters not to me. You are humans, and you are having an existence in this world. The question is, what is your existence reflecting out to the rest of the society that you are attempting to influence? What is it that you are exuding out of your conscious connection or your consciousness to your core energy from your soul, your true beingness? What are you reflecting out to the rest of those that walk past you asleep, in your eyes, in your opinion? Now all of this, imagine all of this now happening at a global rate. Every awakened being, every light worker, every conscious being that considers themselves on this earth for a reason to awaken the rest of the community known as humanity, they are busy doing things, saying things, writing blogs, putting up videos, whatever you want to call it. You're busy doing something. That's the thing. You're busy doing. You're busy doing. But what is it that you're doing? Is it having an effect? Or are you attracting to yourself a group of followers that listen to you and kowtow to your ideas? Do they have a voice? Do they have an opinion that is regarded, brought into the circle and given breath and given life to be able to be heard? Because if it's not, then all that you are doing with this doingness is just adding to the layer of human consciousness that sits around the blanket of this earth. And what happens is, if you can think of it this way, my dear ones, human consciousness acts as a deflector to true consciousness. It acts as a barrier, a screen that you apply to yourself, thinking that I am being conscious, thinking, oh, I'm being righteous, I'm being in my place, I am that I am, I am that I am. Oh yes, I am in the divinity. Now again, I do not do this to mock you. I say what I say, how I say it, to bring to your attention something. What is your intent? What is it that you are indeed incorporating in your speech, your thoughts, your mental outworkings? I hesitate to use the word ascension walk, because ascension has become a trap in so many ways that it keeps you hooked into the karmic cycle. Because yes, you want to explore, you want to break out, you want to discover this great thing called ascension. You want to ascend from level to level to level. When will you understand you already have? You already have. You just have to re-remember. Just like the teachings of old. Through myself as Cifehtr, through myself as Adamus, through Katumi, through every great teacher that has come into your presence, they have told you, remember who you are. Re-remember who you are. Why? Because we're broken records? No. Because you need to know who you are to actively activate the energy in this time. Let us come back to the point that many years ago, at least 5 of your human years, maybe 6 human years ago, said to you, look out for 2015. It is a year to watch. There is an energy in that time. And if you've listened to any of the teachings that I have given in 2014, and those that walked with me in the path of teaching you, we spoke about the consciousness of awakening into the conscious beingness of pure thought, of establishing the true interdimensionality of consciousness, where you are able to access the various stages and abilities between dimensions. Why? Why would we spend an entire year giving you the foundations if it was for nothing? In 2015, we have come with a completely different approach. There's been teachings, continuing into the conscious teaching, but there has also been new things, the creative, the non-resistance, re-establishing these foundational truths. These are not new exposés. They are what they are, the truth retaught, so that you, the individual, are able to clasp them and hold them and realize them as a reality into your life. Dear ones, hear my words. 2015 is not going to get any easier. In fact, in many cases, it is going to get worse. Now, how you interpret that interprets the outcome of your existence. But things have been set in place within Gaia, within the universe, to bring about changes. Because the next year to look at is 2018, and then from there 2030. Now, I will speak between 2018 and 2030 of other years, but these are major points to regard in your calendar. Why? Change. Whenever we say, remember these times, put these in your diary, we are talking of great moments of change. What brings change? Ease, comfort, la-di-da-di-da-di-da. Have a cup of tea? No. Change comes when you are put in the pressure cooker. Is it a pleasant place to be? Not always. But it is an exciting place to be. It is exciting because you get to see who you are. You get to discover again your depths, your qualities, your truth. But Cifehtr, we were told that there would be no more tests. The Great Adamus has said this. Oh, and Cryon has said this. And this has said this. Did I say there was a test? No. I said things have been put in place within Gaia and the universe to bring great changes. And things will get worse on this planet. How you interpret this determines the outcome of your existence. Now you may say, great, wonderful, changes. How am I going to rise above, ride the wave, get in the vibration, allow myself to read, to hear, to know, to absorb the signals that Gaia gives me, that I hear from the vibration that is around me through universal connection, to move me from place to place in the right moment, so that I am in the exact place that I am supposed to be in the right moment of being. Consciousness, my friends, is not something that you wake up with and go, oh, I'm conscious, I'm awake, my eyes are open. Woo. To be truly conscious means that you hear through the very structure of energy, of vibrational imprint within your cellular structure. You hear not through words, but through the knowing of the vibration that is coming into you. The consciousness being, and consciousness is a being, understand this, that lives beside you in this world, physically, attracting your attention to impart into you the knowledge of consciousness so that you can allow yourself the gift of being conscious, of being aware at every level of existence of the purity of creational thought, of the purity of the original substance that creates creational thought. Now, you are in a moment of great change. What are you doing about it? Are you falling into pattern and avoiding what's going on? Or are you coming to the point where you are saying to yourself, enough. I've had enough. I want the change. I want the pressure cooker. Because you know, when you choose to get in the pressure cooker, when you choose to allow the changes to come, all of a sudden, instead of the intense squeezing, there is a release. Why? Because you put yourself in the perfect place to learn, the perfect place to receive. When you're in the perfect place, there is no pressure. There is nothing to resist against. You are in a place of receptivity. Now, recently, in this place, in the group that I connect with here in New Zealand, a secondary group that they connect with occasionally came to re-instruct them on the place of no thing, of nothing, no resistance, the void. This group, the Ish, came in and reminded them of the continual creational energy that is flowing within the spectrum known as the universe. The spiral energy that flows through this world, through the individuals that live upon this world, through the universe that you call the universe. This energy is infinitely filled with every possibility. But you commonly, as a human species, resist the change, because change has habitually scared you. Because rather the devil you know than the devil you don't. This is your logic. Well, how do you know that there's actually a devil waiting there, if I may use the human terminology? Unless you step out and break the habits and break the patterns, I guarantee that on the 24th or the 25th or the 31st of the December month of this year, you will look back and think, why didn't I let the changes happen? Why did I resist again? My friends, you are in the place of fulcrum change. You see, the month of June, shall we say, is the fulcrum point. You are the board that sits upon the fulcrum. Are you going to allow the change to come into place, or are you going to resist and become heavy on one side? What is the change that I am talking about? Well, each human is individual. Each human has changes that only they know needs to do and needs to come into play in their own existence. I could talk to you and say, the addictions that you have, are they really there to keep you from your expansion? Or are they there to distract you? I could speak to you and say, every time that you run from confrontation, are you running from yourself? Or are you actually hiding from the reality that you are a strong and confident being? I could speak to you and say, every time you deny yourself the truth by living a lie, that you're denying yourself the realization that you are indeed capable, I could speak to you and say the changes that you need to bring about your life for the greater thing, the greater good, have already started, and you know this. Don't be afraid. Walk through the door. The door is open. It always has been. It's never been closed. Now you could say, oh, but those are just 3 or 4 different examples. Anybody could fit them. Exactly. Anybody could fit them. And you do fit them. My dear, dear humans, my dear friends, if you would only understand the depth of compassion and love that we as the Ascended Masters have for you, how it, in human terms, breaks our heart to come time and time again to see you falling and doing the same things each and every time, each and every existence. And as many times as our heart breaks, it heals, and we continue our teaching, and we continue our learning with you, and we continue our growing with you. Why? Because we chose to walk the walk with you. We chose to be here each and every time to re-remind you in agreements, not contracts, not binding, life-killing contractual agreements, but agreements of freedom, where I can say to you, grow up. You may be 65 in human years, but it's time to grow up spiritually. Because it's time to stop playing games. You are or you are not awake. If you are awake, get up and start being who you are. And if you would rather go back to sleep, then go back to sleep and leave the space for someone else to fill. Harsh words? Good. Have I got your attention? Because this coming 6 months, globally, individually, is not going to ease up. It's not going to become easy. Happy days are not going to come back into your life, per se. But joy, growth, expansion, being evolved, and elevation, vibrational changes are coming. If you allow yourself. Now why do I say happy days are not coming back to you? Because that is a falsehood, where you live in like a bubble that you've created to keep yourself safe. Safe from what? From reality? My dear friends, the vibrational changes that are coming are going to pop that balloon so severely that you will not only have the ringing in the ear, but you'll have the vibration of the head like a hangover. Rather you pop the balloon and pop the bubble and get out of the makeshift world that you are living in and get into the reality. Why do you think this world is, to use the other terminology of humanity, going to hell in a handbasket? Why do you think it's doing this? Because the Lightworkers are not taking their stand and not doing enough? No. Because, in a manner of speaking, it's the destiny. It's, in a manner of speaking, being predestined, pre-made this way. And each time you get shown images of mutilation, images of destruction, images of terrorism, yes, they are in every aspect, in the humanity, disgusting and evil, and should not be upon this planet. You're right. They shouldn't be. But what consciousness have you brought to replace it? What consciousness have you allowed in to remove it and take its place? You see, it's all very well, dear ones, pointing the finger at what's happening over there. But what's happening over there is a greater reflection of what is happening here. But I don't kill anybody. I don't chop anybody's heads off. I don't mutilate things and creatures and people, and I never said you did. I said it's a reflection of what you are all going through. And it's only when you begin to truly take stock of your own conscious level, your consciousness, that you begin to bring and effect change in your personal sphere of influence. Your personal sphere of influence then evolves to effect another sphere of influence, and so the ripples go out. How many volcanoes have erupted this year? How many earthquakes? How many floods? How many droughts? They are going to increase. But you're such a gloomy person. You're just bringing a message of doom and gloom. Am I? When the dust settles, when the waters reside, when the land's silent, and when the rain falls where it is meant to fall, what do you have? New beginnings. New beginnings. But what are you going to do with the new beginnings? How are you going to establish them? What are you going to allow to grow from there? Are you going to fall into the planetary pattern of blaming, of creating a group to govern over you, to make your decisions? Or are you going to use the next few years of your earth time to step out of the control of individuals that have no idea of how the consciousness of conscious beingness should be? There are a few groups over the planetary system over your globe that are beginning to pop up, who have a true understanding of consciousness, of what it is to be honorable, integral, of what it is to be and understand at a human level as well as an esoteric level what is required within the holistic conscious work of existence, of living. Let us look a little higher above the Earth system. Let us go up a bit. And let us look at the magnetic field, the grid. Let us look at the crystalline grid. When was the last time anybody actively connected with these and actually sent healing into the magnetic grid lines that cover your planetary system? When was the last time anybody sent clearing and energy healing into the crystalline grid line? Last time I can remember people connecting through myself was in 2008, 2009. That was what? 5, 6 years ago? More? Dear ones, these energetic and very real grids are around this planet for a reason. To assist you, to hold you in place, and to allow the consciousness of beingness to stay here. It's time to start being responsible, to step out of the karmic drama and into self-responsibility. Well, yes, there is cause and effect. If I do this, I am responsible for it. I must correct it. Now, not wait for another lifetime to come and teach me a lesson. Now, that is self-responsibility. You have cause and effect, yes, but not karmic cause and effect. Instant realization. I did this, I must correct it. I did this, it's wonderful. It's going to have an effect on so many people of positiveness. You choose how you respond and how you interact with people and yourselves in this existence of self-responsibility. Here, today, is a chance for you to truly take stock of where you are in your existence, in your life. Not because I say you must do this. Not because any other ascended master says you must do this. But because you choose to do this. Dear ones, it is time to look at the diets that you consume. Are they extreme or too lax? What are you putting in your physical being that is blocking your connection or opening you up far too much? What do you mean, opening me up far too much? Surely that's not a bad thing. My dears, the human mind and the human body is built to receive information, downloads, at a set place, at a set moment, at a set time, so that you're able to translate them, activate them, work with them in your own beingness. If you are consistently open and consistently receiving information and consistently downloading, then you are no longer human. You are just existing here. Because you have given yourself over to a download. You are just a data bank. Cruel, harsh reality. Self-responsibility. To be responsible means you know when to download information from the universe, how to incorporate that in your existence. If you are downloading information and not utilizing it and not doing it for yourself, don't you dare spew it out to anyone else. How dare I say that? I am that I am. I have lived the life that you've lived and living many times over. Dear ones, 2015 is your year of change, true change, great change. Politically, planetary, this is a year of great establishment. It is not a time to despair. It is not a time to be gloomy. It is a time to jump into the place of no resistance and allow change. Allow change. Allow change for you. Not for the next person, but for you. Because no matter where you are on this planet, Gaia is going to continue to shake, rattle, to roll, to erupt, to flood, to dry. She has a plan. And being the woman that she is, being the mother that she is, she has a purpose and a destination. Are you going to ride with her? Are you going to connect to universal connection and bring in the consciousness that is you at a higher level into your being? Are you going to allow pure thought, the essence therein of creational power, come into your being? I hope so. I am that I am. I am Cifehtr. And all that is my creational place of beingness. I am.